Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk about some history, some aspects of history and culture. And I'm moved to talk about them because of the notes of appreciation that I get from subscribers, followers, and friends of this channel. I'm going to talk about suicide, the act of taking one's life in three great cultures and civilizations: the Israelites, the Yoruba, and the Japanese. I will start from the Israelites. I will use some branches of the Israelites. I will use what some Israelites do. Israelites dispersed in many parts of the world to present the case of the Israelites. And I will use a very strong Yoruba example to present the case of the Yorubas. And then I will talk about Japan. The Igbo people constitute the largest group of lineal descendants of the Israelites. Among them, suicide is called Ekwo Odo, to hang by the neck. If an Igbo engages in this, the Igbos believe that he has committed an abomination. His body is profane. He will not be mourned, and he will not be buried where others are buried. If you want written evidence of this, consult my book, The Hebrew Igbo Republics, or The Igbos and Israel, an intercultural study of the largest Israelite or largest Jewish diaspora. But if you don't want to buy a book, you can talk to any Igbo who is over 2 years. The Igbo that takes his life by suicide is not buried where others are buried. The body is flung away, and he is not mourned. In fact, every item in the house or in the place that the suicide occurred is taken to the sanctuary. And if you don't want to read my book, read Things Fall Apart by the great Chinua Achebe. Having finished with one branch of Israel, the branch that built the Hebrew republics on the Niger River in the modern country called Nigeria, I will talk about the Ashkenazim, Sephardim, and Beta Israel. This tradition is still recognized among these these communities that are identified as Jews. The suicide is not treated exactly the way other members of the Jewish community are treated. In the Beta Israel community, for example, he is not given burial in the regular Jewish burial. In the Ashkenazi and Sephardi communities, the same thing happens traditionally. We would leave the Israelites now and move to the Yoruba, and I will start the Yorubas by bringing to us a very painful but powerful story. To the Yoruba people, who are one of the three largest ethnicities in Nigeria, suicide is not inherently a bad thing. I will use the story of Afonja to highlight this Yoruba tradition, that suicide is not a bad thing. In old Oyo Empire, Oyo was the most important empire produced by the Yorubas. There was an army general who was also the Are Ona Kakanfo. The Yorubas had a tradition that if this general loses a war, he will take his life. So this general picked a fight with some group of people, and he lost the war, and the emperor called on him to commit suicide as the tradition demanded. He didn't want to take his own life, so he simply fought against the emperor, but he fought against the emperor with the help of the Fulani people. and withdrew to his hometown in Lorraine. Eventually, the Fulanese wanted to take control of the town from him, and the Fulanese, led by one Alimi, killed Afonja. That is why basically, the town called the Lorraine is Yoruba but ruled by Fulanese, because they lost it to the Fulanese some centuries ago. By way of reiteration, Yoruba culture does not think that it is inherently wrong for one to take his own life. Then we move to Japan, the land of the rising sun. If you know a little bit of Japanese, inquire into the meaning of the words harakiri or seppuku. Harakiri or seppuku. To the Japanese, the act of taking one's life is honorable. It is better than shame. In some ways, similar to what you find among the Yorubas. So, we would find aspects of this tradition of not seeing suicide as inherently or traditionally wrong in some other civilizations, but because we promised to use only 3 examples, the Israelites, the Yoruba, and the Japanese, to discuss this subject, we will stop here. But not before making the case clearer again. While the Israelites see suicide as inherently wrong, as something that somebody should not even do under any condition, no matter the toughness of life, the Yoruba and the Japanese do not think that it is wrong. In fact, among the Yorubas, it is believed that if life becomes unbearable, one should take one's life. Thank you, and I urge you to subscribe to this channel, recommend it to your friends. We will keep on bringing you the frozen, buried bits and pieces of history and culture. If you wish, or if you may too, get our books. They are on Amazon. If you Google, or if you go to Amazon, put my name, Remy Ilona, in the search bar, all the books will come out. They are good for edification, they are good for education, they are good for enlightenment. Thank you. May God bless you.